So I realized I didn't really do an intro for this video, like when I left for my trip. So this is going to be a bit of my road trip for Father's Day. I drove up to New York, where I'm from originally, to see my family. And you'll see some of them in some of the videos, and just going to be my thoughts on my ride. On the way up, it's about a 6-hour ride, charging at a supercharger and autopilot. So enjoy. So it might be really hard to see, but it's pretty foggy, and I mean right now it's clearing up a bit, but it was extremely foggy where I couldn't see more than maybe 15 feet in front of me. And I've had the car on autopilot on my drive, and it's just amazing how controlled it was in that situation where I know I couldn't see and I wouldn't be comfortable driving at highway speeds, but the car just handles it so effortlessly. And it's really impressive to me for my first long distance drive using autopilot. And I lowered the speed a little bit on the cruise control just so I was comfortable in case I needed to take over at any point. But I was just utterly impressed with how well this car handled through all that really thick fog. Yeah, so the fog got dense again. You can only see maybe 6 dash marks in the street in front of me, maybe 8 when it's got street lights, but those aren't all over. And this car is just going. It doesn't need to see as well or as much as a human does, and it just goes. It is incredibly competent, and I feel very safe for my first time using autopilot like this. I'm thoroughly impressed. I am at my first supercharger. I'm in Delaware at the Welcome Center, so this is really convenient. The chargers are a decent ways away from the actual building back there, but it's nice to get a little exercise, get the blood flowing. And I mean, this place is only open for bathrooms now, but during normal times when it's not a pandemic, you can get food, you can sit, they've got gift shops and whatnot. So this is a really convenient charging spot, and it's got 12 chargers, so should never really have an issue. And I did actually go check out over by where the truckers park. They have a free charger. I saw it on the ChargePoint app that I use, and I checked that to get from 20 to 80%. It would have been like 4.5 hours. So that's about 80% of what my trip length is supposed to be, so it wasn't worth it for me. So I figured spend the few bucks and come to a supercharger for the first time, and it says 25 minutes from 20% to 80%, so it's going pretty well. The trip is really easy. I've just had it on autopilot basically the whole time, and the thing handles so well. It's really just done a great job, and it's definitely less fatiguing. I've done this trip a million times in my normal cars, and now that it's a Tesla where I just put it on autopilot and go, I'm very happy with how the trip is going so far. So I'm getting my first full charge in this car. It says it's at 100%, still a couple minutes left to completely top it off, I guess. But it was about an hour, not too bad, cost $15.25. Gas here is $2.20, so saved about 10-15 bucks in gas price, so it's not too bad. And it was decent timing, went quick. Played some games on my phone and just hung out. It wasn't bad. It's nice to relax a bit. It would definitely be nice to be able to just lay down in the back and sleep, but I'm not tired enough for that right now, so I'll let you know how that goes maybe on my way back from this trip, because I am 6'4", so we'll see if I have enough room to curl up in the back there. And they've just been pretty happy with this supercharging, and I want to see exactly what my mileage on a full battery is. And it says 313. So that's not bad. Gonna go unplug and get back on the road. Going over a bridge. It's super foggy on the bridge up here. You can't even see the tops of the pillars, but it is really cool since there is construction. You can see all the cones popping up when they're over on the side there. It's pretty nice to see how clear it sees everything around you. Since I've been on the road for a little while, I've seen a few other Teslas going the other way, none on the same route as me, but I was wondering, in the Tesla community, is there a wave? Because like I ride a motorcycle, or had a motorcycle, and you always have the little wave that you'll do when you pass other motorcycles, and you have the Jeep wave where it's just like a quick hello as you're going past each other. But is there something in the Tesla community that you will signal to another Tesla driver as you're passing by or going by them on the road in whichever direction? Like, is there something that you do? So if anybody knows of that, let me know. So I'm about to put autopilot to its first real test in just a little bit. I am about to get onto the Belt Parkway on Long Island, and that road is a mess. It is a tough road to drive when you're doing it and you've driven it a million times. So I'm interested to see how the car does pretty much driving itself on there. I'm gonna use as little intervention as I can. So I'll let you know how that goes. So I was trying to do a time-lapse video, and I don't know if it's going to look good, because anybody that's driven these roads from the Verrazano Bridge onto the Belt Parkway knows how bumpy and crazy they are. And also, this car has a pretty stiff suspension, so I'm sure you can see it now as well on the camera that it is very bumpy, and I don't want it to be nauseating for people to watch. But I've been just trying to get some decent video of these roads that are pretty tough to drive and how well the car is doing. I only had to intervene once so far, and that was just the exit of Verrazano onto the Belt Parkway, because it's a really, really tight curve out of nowhere that the speed slows down by 30 miles an hour, I think. And the car just didn't slow down quick enough for my comfort. It's possible that it would have done really well by itself and gotten it around the bend with no issues, but I just didn't feel comfortable at the speed it was starting to go in at. So I wanted to make sure I gave plenty of reaction time to myself to be able to handle it correctly. But as soon as I got it down to speed that I was comfortable, I put autopilot back on and just breezed through again. So I've still, as I've said before, I'm very happy with how it's been handling, and it's made this trip super easy. I don't have the full self-driving upgrade, but the autopilot itself is an incredible system. So I have to change lanes myself. I've got to do the on and off of the highways for the most part, but it's actually done a really good job even on that, where the lanes are pretty clear and it goes from highway to highway. So going around like Baltimore area, you're on 95 and switching between 495 onto 95, I think, and it took that route really well. I didn't have to do anything, and it slowed down for the bend, and that was pretty good. We survived the Belt Parkway and Southern State Parkway, two very windy roads at high speed, super sharp curves at points, and this thing handled really well. A few times that I had to just slow down a little bit, but I didn't have to take it off autopilot, I don't think. And it just was great. Yeah, simple as that. I do wonder if one day, though, there'll be any avoidance or kind of lane positioning assistance in the sense of like potholes. So there are some huge potholes on those roads that I just drove, and the car will just go through. It just tries to stay pretty much center in the lane, and I don't know if, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's got a good enough suspension and it shouldn't be an issue, but it would be cool if it kind of was able to avoid potholes a bit, just to save tires and whatnot. But I don't know if it's a necessarily important feature, just something that would be nice. Some drag racing with the Tesla Model Y twin 85 Monte Carlo Super Sport. Maybe we'll even break out the Hayabusa, see what this Tesla's got. .300 rear. Yep. Yep. Watch this launch. Oh my goodness. And you see, you really don't have to brake much. The regen braking.
Barely touching it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It actually feels hard. It's more aggressive than the Hayabusa does.
That felt harder than a Hayabusa that does 2.8 0 to 60.
It's insane because I think maybe it's partially because it's quiet.
Yeah.
So you're not getting that adrenaline.
Yeah, from the sound of the engine.
And then your adrenaline builds up, and then you're like, all right, you're prepared for it. But it just goes from, and I'm not even touching. You just stop. It's just.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Insane.
Yep.
I don't need a car like this.
Nope.
I feel like you're on an airplane.
Yeah.
That's like jet plane completely.
Yep. Yeah, we almost got 60 in that little stretch.
It's like silent booster too.
Yeah. It sounds almost like a supercharger whine.
Uh-huh.
Or it's just like it's an incredible feeling, huh?
It sure is. Then I have to tell my husband that I'm not wanting one with you.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, we good. These brakes are nice and smooth too.
Yeah.
Feel like you're going up on a jet.
I was standing still.
I am leaving my parents' house in New York and headed back down to Virginia. I'm leaving their house with only 22% battery. We only have a 110 volt, so just a normal wall outlet basically. I just plugged an extension cord into outside and then the car into that. So didn't really get that much battery charge, but I figure it's better to get a little bit than nothing. But this is a good test for me in trying to see how much I would need to charge on this trip typically without having to charge at home or worrying about being at 100% battery when I leave the house, going either direction. So it says that I've got 2 25-minute stops, which is not bad. It's enough time to go to the bathroom, stretch your legs, and get a snack if times were normal and you could actually go to a rest stop and get things. But I think it's pretty solid for the distance of the trip. So I'm excited to see how the charging goes during this and just the short times that I'll be there. I'll probably do a little bit more in the second charging just so that I have enough battery to be able to go to work in the morning and not have to worry about charging. But other than that, I'm just gonna take this ride and use autopilot as much as I can. So since I left with such low battery, I'm about 25 minutes away from my house and am at a supercharger. I said I'll be here for about 25 minutes and then I'll have enough to get to my next supercharger in Delaware and do 25 minutes there. So I'm just gonna try and pass the time and maybe watch some TV, watch some Hulu or Netflix, and just try and get through it. Shouldn't be too bad, and just relax, put my seat back a bit. And there are actually 2 other Teslas here. There's a Model S right there and a Model 3 back behind that. And both very, very good looking. The Model 3 owners are in their car. So probably doing the same thing as me, just trying to pass the time and get out of here soon. I'm on the New Jersey Turnpike, got autopilot on, and there's a kind of tough merge coming up, so I'm gonna see how it handles it, if it kind of sticks to one side of the lines or if it just kind of shoots to the middle. Seems like we're staying pretty right. Oh, there's the hard turn left and then centers itself. Wasn't terrible, but I'm sure the cars around me may have thought I was gonna lose control. So it's starting to get kind of dark out, so sorry for the bad quality, but I just want to say real quick that as I'm driving now, I'm realizing that there are some times where I almost feel more comfortable with autopilot taking control than myself. Like this morning when there was fog, it was incredible. And now there are a lot of bright lights from construction and whatnot on the other side of the highway, and the lanes on this side, the markings aren't very clear. And they don't have a great amount of street lights on this highway, which is not unusual. But it's pretty amazing that even though I can't see the lines in front of me super well, the autopilot, all the cameras, it picks it up perfectly and handles the road so well. So it's just a great safety feature, and it makes you definitely feel comfortable. It's weird, don't get me wrong, but it really does help the driver. And that's the best way for it to be used, is in conjunction with the person controlling the vehicle. So when people are doing that correctly, it works fine. But you'll see videos of Teslas crashing when they're on autopilot because people fall asleep because they're like, oh, the car will drive. But you have to still be paying attention, and it says it, and that's why you have to keep your hand on the wheel and give it input every 30 seconds or so. But it's just really cool. Another quick thing, the regen braking, I've said before, it's so aggressive, but it's amazing how it's really going to save doing brakes on the car as frequently as you would on any ICE vehicle. Because as I was getting off the highway into this charging station at a rest stop, the car in front of me is slamming on their brakes to slow down because we were going highway speed, and I just let go of the gas or the throttle and slowed down just as fast. It's pretty amazing, and it's just putting that energy right back into the battery. It's a great feature. I'm supercharging again, and I'm at the same place that I was at this morning. There's a Model 3 and a Model X here. So a few more Teslas around, which is cool. I always enjoy seeing them. And I'm just gonna walk into the rest stop. It says that I need about 20 minutes of charge to make it home with 15% battery. But I'm gonna take my time, maybe do 40 minutes, watch a movie or comedy special or something. Those are my favorites on Netflix. So I'll see what I end up doing, because I'm in no rush necessarily, and I've got work in the morning, so the more battery I have, the better, since I don't have charging capabilities at home right now. I do have a free charger that's a Tesla destination charger, half a mile from my house, but that's obviously not the most convenient for waking up in the morning to get to a job. So I'm gonna go use the facilities and relax for a little bit and then get back on the road. So in addition to not having done an intro, I didn't do an outro either. So in summary, the trip was really easy to go from Virginia to New York and back. I did it all in one day. Charging was super convenient. It was perfect timing when I needed to charge for me to rest, go to the bathroom, just stretch my legs a bit on a little over 6-hour trip. And the autopilot was fantastic. I was very happy with it as my first long trip with that car. It was the day after I actually picked up the car. So I'm really happy overall. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, because that helps my channel. And if you have any video ideas, definitely let me know. I'm open to doing some videos to answer questions, and I just want this channel to be fun for me and you guys that are watching. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.